I've always been a night owl, staying up late to finish work or just to enjoy the quiet. But lately, the late hours have become unsettling. It started with the mirror. I have a large antique mirror hanging in my living room, a hand-me-down from my grandmother. It's beautiful, ornate, with a gilded frame that gives the room an old-world charm. But at night, when the lights are low and the house is still, the mirror takes on a different quality. It seems to watch me. One night, as I was sitting on the couch working on my laptop, I caught movement in the mirror out of the corner of my eye. At first, I dismissed it as a trick of the light, but when it happened again, I looked up, expecting to see my reflection. But the image in the mirror wasn't me. It looked like me. But there was something off, something wrong. The reflection was too pale, the eyes too dark, like they were hollowed out. And it wasn't mirroring my movements. It was just standing there, staring at me. I blinked, and the reflection blinked back, but not at the same time. It was a fraction of a second too slow, like it was mimicking me rather than reflecting me. I shook my head, trying to shake off the unease, and got up to go to bed. As I stood, the reflection did the same, but again, just a beat too late. I walked toward the mirror, heart pounding, trying to convince myself it was all in my head. But as I got closer, the reflection's expression changed. The corners of its mouth curled into a slight, twisted smile. A smile that wasn't mine. I froze, staring at this thing in the mirror that looked like me but wasn't. The smile grew wider, stretching unnaturally across its face. I took a step back, and the reflection took a step forward, pressing its hands against the glass. It was then that I noticed something even more terrifying. Its hands. The fingers were long, too long and thin, with nails that were more like claws. As it pressed its hands against the inside of the mirror, the glass seemed to ripple, like the surface of water disturbed by a stone. I stumbled back, knocking over a lamp in my haste. The reflection tilted its head, watching me with those dark, hollow eyes. It mouthed something, but no sound came out. I didn't wait to see what it would do next. I turned and ran to my bedroom, slamming the door behind me. I didn't sleep that night. I could still feel its eyes on me, even through the closed door, as if it was waiting for me to come back, to look into the mirror again. The next morning, I convinced myself it had been a nightmare, a product of too little sleep and too much stress. But when I cautiously approached the mirror, I saw something that made my blood run cold. There were handprints on the glass, small, smudged handprints, like something had been trying to push its way out. I covered the mirror with a sheet, but that night, I heard it. A faint tapping, coming from the living room. It was rhythmic, deliberate, like someone knocking on a door, trying to get in. I didn't dare leave my bedroom. I sat on my bed, listening as the tapping grew louder, more insistent. Then, I heard a low whisper, barely audible, but enough to make my skin crawl. It was my voice, or at least it sounded like my voice, calling my name. "Come see me," it whispered. "Come see what you really are." I didn't move. I couldn't. The whispering continued, growing more urgent, more demanding. And then, as suddenly as it started, it stopped. The silence that followed was heavy, oppressive, like the calm before a storm. In the morning, I found the sheet on the floor, crumpled at the foot of the mirror. The handprints were gone, but the mirror was different. The glass was dull, almost cloudy, like something had been pressing against it from the other side, warping it. I didn't wait to find out what that thing was. I called a moving company, packed my belongings, and left that apartment for good. But even now, in my new place, with no mirrors in sight, I can't shake the feeling that it's still watching me, waiting for me to look into another mirror, to find it staring back at me.